Simplified Chaos, Episode 2.
Life is beautiful and full of chaos.
And it can get slightly out of hand if that shit's not tamed.
We're here to share how to simplify the little things to start leading a more purposeful life.
This is Simplified Chaos.
Hey, lovely friends. Thanks for coming back to our podcast. This is Jillian, and I'm with my co-host, Nicholas.
Hey, Jill.
And Lucille's here again. It's feeding time, so we're just all a little happy family recording another podcast, which would be fun.
You know what the good thing about recording a podcast is?
What?
You can't get canceled.
What?
You can't get canceled. We could just keep doing this stuff. No one's our own boss. No one's going to shut us down.
We could cancel ourselves, though.
We could, but we're not going to do that. We're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep getting better at it and bring you guys some great content. So we are excited to bring to you our second episode here.
Yay! We'll try to be better this time, guys.
We're going to be much better. So anyways, Jill, I'm feeling grateful.
Are you now?
I am. I'm feeling very grateful.
So what are you grateful for today?
I'm grateful for returns.
Returns?
Returns.
I have no idea what you mean.
I mean, when you get something that you don't want or it's broken or whatever, you can return it back. No hassle. And make it easy. You just go back and log into your account, say, I want to send this back, and boom, it's back.
What account? I don't understand.
Amazon.
Oh, so did you get something you wanted to return this year?
No, but I'm grateful for them. I think it has a lot to do with the episode we're going to cover today.
That's true.
And when I have gotten things, I've ordered shoes that may have been the wrong size. Sites like Amazon, and there's some other ones out there, but obviously Amazon's king when it comes to e-commerce. They make it easy. They don't ask questions. You send it back, and boom, you get your refund, or you can buy another thing. Now, I will say the other day we had something for this podcast that was sent to us that was supposed to be delivered. For some reason, when we were supposed to get the item, it said that we refused it, which was a cord splitter that was like $6.
That was interesting.
So why would we refuse it? So anyways, it got returned. We got the money back and we bought a new one.
Yeah.
No big deal. It was great. So I'm grateful for returns. Okay. Jill, what are you grateful for?
So I plan to say I'm grateful for my Ergo Baby 360 because I practically live in it.
You're in that thing all the time.
I am. But I kind of want to change it because last night, I really enjoyed that movie last night.
Okay.
So I think I'm grateful for Netflix because we got to watch Bird Box.
Bird Box.
With Sandra Bullock and John Malkovich.
It's supposed to be terrifying.
It wasn't so much terrifying as it was very suspenseful and intense. Yes. I mean, my whole body was like, I feel like I could not move my muscles and I just couldn't wait for the next thing to happen. And it's been a while since I've seen a movie like that. So thank you, Netflix, and thank you, Bird Box, for entertaining me last night.
Thank you, everybody, for hyping it up.
Yeah. So unless you would have heard the hype, we would have never watched it. But I actually really enjoyed it. And I didn't get nightmares afterwards, which is... It's great. It's really hard for me to watch a scary movie at night and then not get terrified to go to sleep. I need someone to come with me. I sound like a baby, but it's so true. I could watch that movie. It was a good thrill, very suspenseful, and then I could go to bed without worrying about being petrified to go to sleep. So it was fantastic.
To be honest, I mean, I did go to bed with you last night at the same time.
Yes, you did, but that's
I think that
neither
helped.
here nor there.
Okay. All good. Well, it's good that we're grateful for some things.
Absolutely. Which leads us to our episode today. And the topic today is gifts. Receiving gifts, giving gifts, everything about gifts.
It's so stressful.
It can be.
So yeah, I mean, right now it's when this episode will drop, it'll be just after the new year. So we just got finished with Christmas and the holidays, and I'm sure a lot of people have a ton of gifts that they don't know where to put them, is not useful for them and their family.
I think especially if you're a parent.
Yes,
and you have grandparents around, and they just want to give you everything. And
they do.
Show their love, and they show their love in material things.
Well, and I think a lot of it is they want to see the joy on their kids or their grandkids' face when they give them the material item.
Yes,
and
that's
Lucille
true.
is having a field day right now, isn't she?
She loves these wires.
Yes, she does. But yeah, no, I mean, right now I know that it's a very stressful time of year just because there's more things coming into your house, and obviously you have to find space for them. You might not have the space, or you just don't need that item. It was a nice gesture from somebody, but it's just not something that's practical for your lifestyle.
Yeah.
And so I think this is an important topic to cover, because this is going to give you guys over 360 days to kind of prepare for next Christmas. And
True.
Even more so, coming up, there's anniversaries, there's birthdays, Mother's Day, Father's Day. There's a lot of different holidays that come up that you feel pressured to buy a gift. And oftentimes we think of material things, and it's stressful for the gift buyer, and it's stressful sometimes for the gift receiver.
But sometimes it is not stressful for the gift giver because they really enjoy buying things and giving things. So I think it just depends on, and we also talked about like your love language, and maybe your spouse, their love language is material things and gifts.
Sure.
And some people really enjoy those and some people don't. So I think it's important to know the receiver really well.
And this episode's not going to be for everybody. There's people who love material things and, want nothing more than to get some kind of gift, and they will find a way to use it.
But I think it's important when you are the giver, whatever the gift is, just to know the receiver really well and know if they actually want something material or if they want an experience, or I don't know, maybe just quality time together. So I just think it really matters on getting to know the receiver well before gifting anything.
Absolutely. And I think when it all comes down to, when there's usually some kind of problem, it's a breakdown of communication. And so I guess the first thing I wanted to ask you, Jill, is, how would you tell a family or friend member to either cut down or completely stop buying a gift for you or your family?
So I probably wouldn't come out and say, please stop buying me gifts. Because first off, it's kind of rude. And I know when people give you gifts, they love the joy of just the gifting part. So whether you use it or not, they are getting so much joy in actually handing you something or seeing you open it. And that is filling them up, and that is bringing them happiness. And I would hate to steal that away from them. But I would make sure to, say that, this is great. And I
really appreciate the gesture.
I really appreciate the gesture. But, Nick and I are really trying to live a different type of lifestyle now. And it doesn't, it's such a tough subject.
It really is. But, these are conversations that our audience are going to have with their loved ones and their family members in order to get some sanity back in their lives. And it's not an easy conversation, but I feel like if you come, you speak from the heart, you show whomever it is that this is the lifestyle you're trying to live. And I think we've done a good job with that with our friends and more importantly, our family, who are now, both sides are now grandparents for the first time.
Yeah.
Your parents and my parents have their first grandchild. And of course, the instinct of a grandparent is to spoil the crap out of their grandchild. And I think we've done a good job from the very beginning telling them that, hey, this is how we want it to be. If you want to buy her clothes, if you want to buy her books, that's fine. But when it comes to toys,
yes,
we want to limit the number of toys in here. And obviously there's a lot of reasons, not just our sanity, but just reading about how kids need to be more creative, and they end up becoming more creative. They have a limited number of toys. They have to find a new way to use that toy. Or ADD is another thing that often comes up. And when there's too many toys and they go from toy to toy to toy, they're with one thing, and then the next thing, it's a lack of focus. So that's part of our reasoning, but it's also our lifestyle.
I'm going to scratch that because if someone gives you a gift, I'm not going to say, this is nice, but that's very rude.
No.
I will accept it. And, I would tell them, thank you so much. This is so kind of you. And then when it's in my possession, I think it's fair game for once it's in my life that we can do what we choose to with it. I think what's important is the actions we do before Christmas and after Christmas, the lifestyle we live, so that they see that we're serious about this lifestyle, that we're confident in the lifestyle that we're living. Because I feel like right now we've communicated with your parents for the past year how, we're getting rid of things we don't use anymore. It's making us happier and less stressful. And we're sharing all these experiences that we're going through. And your mom sees that in our house. Mm-hmm. And she sees that in our actions and how we speak. And we're communicating with them, which is what you said about the communication piece. So I think it has to do with the actions that you're actually doing. And if they see that you're living this type of lifestyle consistently and you're not messing around and it's how you want to live and your why, I think is very important.
So it's walking the walk and talking the talk.
Absolutely. I feel like if we talk the talk and then we're, consuming all these gifts and giving gifts, it's like, so you're preaching one thing, but you're doing another. They're not going to believe us. So I think it's just being confident in your decision to live this type of lifestyle and just living it so that your parents or my parents or whoever wants to gift us things can actually see that we're serious about this. It makes us really happy to live this way.
Right.
But I also heard a really awesome quote to help you if you're getting a gift and, you may not need it or want it. And it was love the gift giver and not the gift. So to kind of keep that in your head, if you're getting a gift and you're like, oh my God, I really don't want this in my house, just kind of have that quote in your mind, like love the gift giver. So just thank them. This is amazing. Thank you so much. And really don't even think about the gift. It's just the act of them giving you something. That's how they're showing you that they love you or they care about you.
So I think that's great. And I guess I'm more trying to get to the people who maybe haven't had that conversation, but just are completely overwhelmed. And it's not just one gift. It could be, and I'm thinking more of grandkids where it's like, I don't have any place in my house to put all these gifts. You've gone overboard. How do you talk to a grandparent, which would be your parent, and say, listen, let's get our grandkids, get them one or two gifts. But then, obviously you want to spend more money than on the one or two gifts.
Yeah.
How about we put it in a 529? How about we spend it on an experience? You can get us a pass to the zoo or to the aquarium.
And a 529 is college fund?
I believe so.
Still learning all the lingo. So
that's when one of my friends told me is he'd much rather have it go to a 529. So
all the things about that.
You have a 529. There's another thing you can also sign up for, and that's escaping me right now. But there's two different types of college savings, and a 529 is one of them.
So from what I'm experiencing so far with having a child and grandparents is that they want to buy something. They do.
Right.
And they want to give experiences and they also want to give things because they like seeing the kid open something and see that excitement. So I think maybe it all goes back to communication, like maybe working with the grandparent or that person, say, hey, these are 3 toys that my son or daughter has been really,
love some toys right now.
has been really looking forward to getting. So here's 3 options if you really are looking for something for them to open. You want the other nip? Okay, hold on. So I think it goes back to communication and then just like collaborating with your grandmother or grandparent or friend and just saying, hey, like this is a list of things that our kid is really into right now because they want to give something that the kid's going to like. Like ultimately that's the end deal. Like they want to get something.
It's that instant gratification.
Yes.
The instant joy.
So maybe say, hey, these are 2 or 3 things that they really love. And then we're really looking forward to like taking lots of trips to the zoo or doing this. So maybe we could, maybe you'd be interested in like helping us pay for, a membership towards museums or some kind of really fun experience. So that way they have options to buy gifts that you want and the kids want. Then they have options for more experiences. So that way you're they can still do what they want to do, which is give them a gift, but at the same time, it's going to be more directed, and it's going to be, I don't know, more intentional, I guess, for the giver and the receiver.
Right. So I guess, again, what it kind of boils down to is communication. And, again, being very grateful that they're thinking of you or thinking of your kids, and that this gift was a very nice gesture. We love you for it.
Yes.
But, this is what we would like instead, in the future, and really just communicating that. And I don't think there's, you don't have to worry about hurting feelings. It's just, telling them what you guys want. And again, I think going back to showing them that this is the life that you're living.
Your why, I think, is really important.
Yes.
The reasoning why, not just saying we don't want stuff. They're going to be like, oh, okay.
And I think if you're in that situation where you might just have an overwhelming amount of stuff, bring your parents by the house and say, listen, this is how we're living right now. I have no place to put our stuff, and our goal is to eliminate some of the stuff. So,
well, that and stuff causes stress. So
it does.
You can just tell them, like, I'm stressed out by our house.
Well, that's what I mean.
If I'm stressed out, I'm, reacting in a way that's not patient and as kind as I could be towards my kids because of all of the stuff that's around me. So even bringing it back to you, like, I'm overwhelmed, my kids are overwhelmed. I don't want that in my life anymore. And just really expressing your why you want less stuff in a really nice and kind way. And just, again, being grateful. And, it's just all about communicating that.
Absolutely.
And being consistent. That's the biggest thing. Being consistent and confident. And, if you're not confident in it, you're not going to live it out. So you just have to be confident in that decision and just live it, because they're watching you, whether you know it or not, just like your kids are.
Right.
It's not what you say, it's what you do. And I think that's very powerful.
It's all about action.
Yes.
Absolutely. So, now that we're in a situation where parents have all these things that they've brought home, or you have gifts that, were nice to get, but you really don't have a purpose, what do you do with those gifts, Jill?
So for me, I kind of let them know how grateful I am, first off, that they gave me the gift. But once it's in my life, I feel like it's my item to do with what I want, and they already got that joy and that gratification by seeing my kid or me open the gift. So they've received that, yes, this made me feel very happy to see them open that gift. So they got what they wanted, and now it's my turn to do with the gift as I want. So I feel like you can kindly, donate if you want, or you can say, hey, this was an awesome gift, but, it's not right for us. Is there any way we could replace it with something else? Like, I know we had an instance with your parents where we received a gift, and it was such a grateful gift.
So, they bought us the Ring doorbell from Amazon.
Yes.
And right now we have Nest set up throughout our house. So we have the Nest smoke detectors. We have the Nest front door lock.
You're kind of a nerd.
Yeah, I am a nerd. I love technology.
I enjoy that because I'm not.
So, it was a very nice gesture. We got the gift. We took it home. My dad came over the next day, and I said, hey, listen, we really appreciate it. However, I did some more research, and this just doesn't work with the ecosystem that we have set up in our house. Is there any way we can return this, or have you guys return it? And then, this is the doorbell that we would like. And it was easy. Like, he was like, yeah, sure. He's like, I get it. Let's make sure it works with what you're doing. And my dad loves installing things, so he put a nice little note in the box saying free installation and whatnot. So, and I'm going to take him up on that, because it's going to require some wiring, and he's the electric guy. So
that he is.
Yeah, but it was just having a frank conversation, again, thanking him for the the lovely gesture, and that we're absolutely going to get use out of this. However, this isn't the brand that we wanted. Can we exchange it for something else? So that's one thing that you can do.
And I say that if they won't, or they say no for any reason, that I feel like it's fair game. Like, you shouldn't feel badly about donating or selling it if you talk to them first about it. Hey, we're not going to use this. Is there any way we could get this instead? Or, do you mind if we sell it? Or do you mind if we return it back to you and you guys can get your money back? So I just think it has to do with communication again, just being open and not being afraid to talk to them about it, and just let them know, like, this is great, but, we really won't get that much use out of it. Do you mind if we donate to someone who would get a lot of good use out of it? I think it's just not being afraid
And
to tell the giver.
I think you bring up a good point too, is being proactive and telling them up front rather than waiting 6 months down the road and they come to your house and say, hey, you know, are you still getting good use out of this, you know, whatever it is. And you're like, yeah, well, we ended up getting rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
So having that conversation beforehand. But let's just say you don't have that conversation beforehand. You don't tell them that, you know, this is a nice gift, but we're going to do this with it. And then they ask you about it 6 months later. What would be your answer or to that question? I'm putting you on the spot here.
I mean, well, it's hard to say what that person would do because I feel like they're probably just starting their journey in simple living.
Mm-hmm.
But because this is 2.5 years through it, I'm very confident in saying what we did with it. Like, I honestly wouldn't feel guilty, I feel like, at this point, because I've walked the walk, I've talked the talk, and I'm doing everything that I'm saying I'm doing. So at this point, I don't think I'd feel guilty because once it's in my life, I feel like we have the power to do what we want with it. But again, I'm further in my journey than some people might be. So
right.
I think until then, you know, I just feel like honesty is like the best answer, but you just have to do it in a kind way. Like, oh, we didn't use it, we got rid of it. Like, be respectful and sensitive.
Yeah, don't be an asshole.
Pretty much. Like, be kind, don't be an asshole, and just tell them the truth. And then just walk the walk. If you're saying what you're doing, just start doing it. You know, show them that you're serious about this type of lifestyle. And then I know from experience that your parents are going to start picking up on it because my mom has picked up on it. And
my parents have picked on it too.
Yeah, and they're completely changing the way they gift now. And it's a lot more experiences, very few gifts. And we couldn't be happier with that because that's kind of what we wanted. We want less stuff and just more experiences and quality time with them.
Well, and I think the last couple of Christmases, particularly with my parents and you know, my brother and his wife,
drastically changed.
We've changed the way, you know, we showed up and this is going to kind of segue into gift giving because I know that's another topic we wanted to cover here. But, you know, we've given, you know, for my brother and my sister-in-law, we go to a Caps game every year. So we buy tickets and we do this big to-do. You know, we go and we grab barbecue beforehand and then we go to a Caps game. And the
oven chicken.
Love the chicken, oven chicken. And, you know, that's what we do. And my parents are a little bit more tough. And I want to kind of get into that when we get into the gift giving part. But, yeah, for us, it's been experiences. And we've communicated that with our family. And that's usually what we get.
And again, we communicated beforehand. Like, hey, would you guys love to go to a Caps game again? Like, we make sure to ask them before every year because things could change and maybe they don't value that anymore. And they're like, yes, we loved going to the Caps game last year. So that was like, all right, we know exactly what to gift and we get to spend time together. Like, there's so many great benefits out of experiences, like quality time, spending, like, you know, having dinner together and talking, communicating, and then enjoying a hockey game was even better. And by the way, I call Ovechkin Oven Chicken because the first time I saw his jersey, his name looked like Oven Chicken to me. So every time Ovechkin, I just say Oven Chicken.
Yes. Anyway. And I know I'm talking about giving you a gift that you probably won't wear that much, but it would be hysterical.
It would.
Yeah. So I guess let's kind of segue into gift giving because I know that can be a source of stress. What advice would you give to those who have a tough time thinking of gifts to give to their loved ones?
So do you mean like partners or like
partners, family? I mean, it can be anybody. I mean, do you remember our first Christmas? I got you.
My memory's like mush right now. I got mom brain. Like
I got you a little owl that I called Al Green that was made of some tin and stuff like that. And then I got you some drill bits for wine glasses because I thought you wanted to make wine glasses that had lights in them and stuff like that. That was didn't use one time.
That was very thoughtful.
It was.
No, we never used that tool.
No. Oh, it's gone.
Yes.
We got rid of it.
We absolutely did. I think it has to do about knowing the receiver.
Right.
So I know we talk all the time and we express to each other, like, listen, I don't need all the things. Like, you don't need to buy me an anniversary gift. No. You don't need to buy me a Christmas gift. Just take me on date nights, like twice a month. If we have 3 times a month, that's a bonus.
This is easy for me.
But it's all about expressing, like, being honest. Like, hey, I love that you did this, but you don't have to do this anymore because I want you to show me your love through other ways.
Right.
And gifts isn't one of them. So, again, it's just being honest and kind and don't be a douche about it.
Right. Well, and for you, I think I hit the jackpot where it's, you're more about the experiences. But
And not
what
everybody
if
is.
what if somebody's having a tough time, that their partner is into material things and they don't know what to get them? I think the answer again is still communication.
Well, I guess it's just about, maybe
And
they want to pick out their gift themselves. It
sure,
could be, ultimately you want to make them happy. So maybe they're like, what they want, they need to tell me what they want because I don't know what they want. And again, it goes back to like, listen, I want to get you something special, but I have no idea.
right.
Can you lead me in some kind of direction? So I want to make you happy. And it's just,
For us, we're always going to
It's
lean
just hard.
towards the experience.
yeah, so it's hard for me to answer this because we're
Right.
definitely not the material type. Or just being a really good listener. I know, like, when you did get me something that was super thoughtful, it's all about listening. So if you
I'm sorry, what were you
overheard,
saying?
I'm sorry, exactly. It goes back to listening, which is actually you've taught me a lot about. You are such a good listener. You pick up on things that I've said like months ago, and I'm like, how do you remember that? And
Steel trap.
but even if you don't have a good memory, if they say something that they're interested in, or hey, I really would like this, jot it down in your notes in your phone really quick. That's what I have
Sure.
to do. If I think of something, I have to jot it down or I'll forget. So if I knew you love material things and we're out and about and you mention like, oh my God, I would really love the CD, even though nobody buys CDs anymore, I'm going to jot it down and be like, this is something that I can give him for, whatever the occasion is. So I think it has to do, about being a good listener too.
Mhm. I agree. I absolutely agree.
But again, it's hard for me to put myself in this scenario because we just have not been given
Yeah, I
gifts
mean,
for
we're
a while
obviously
now.
focused towards people who are trying to simplify
Oh,
their
absolutely.
lives. And, I think this is a great way for us to, this is how we show love to each other. We
Mhm.
go out on our date nights, we have our list of things. And again, there's a lot of topics that we're going to cover in future podcasts. We're going to cover date nights and a lot of other cool things that Jill and I do.
Free therapy, date nights,
It's
wonderful.
very free. Just a couple cocktails and boom, therapy session is complete. So yeah, no, I mean, we'd love to hear everyone else's feedback on, what they do when it comes to either gift receiving or gift giving. You can hit us up on either one of our social media feeds. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Simplified Chaos. And on Instagram, we're simplified.chaos, and that's chaos with a K. Forgot to mention that in the first episode.
Oh,
Yes, so chaos with a K. You can also email us at simplifiedchaospodcast@gmail.com. Again, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Tell us what you're doing as far as gift giving and gift receiving, how you're trying to simplify it and really cut out some of that stress in your life.
oh, can I add one thing?
You may.
I got a really cool idea for if you do get a gift. A really fun idea is if you have no purpose for it and you think someone else in your life would really, really enjoy it, being intentional about regifting something you're receiving.
Mm-hmm.
Thought that was an excellent idea. And I do the same thing. If I see something and I'm like, oh my God, I can't use it, but this would be perfect for so-and-so. And I think it would just make them extremely happy. So I think regifting, it kind of has a bad connotation, but I think if it's done intentionally, it can
Yes.
make somebody super happy. It's like someone else's junk is someone else's treasure. Like, and not
And
saying
maybe
it's
not even
junk.
junk,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what I
yeah.
mean. Like, you may love it, but you already have one of it, and it's like a second. Like, let's say you get a children's book, and she gave that example, and you already have that book. It's, whatchamacallit's having a baby. I think this would be a great book for them, and I don't think there's anything wrong in regifting
I don't
at
either.
all.
I don't either. If it's something that I'm going to use and find, pleasure in
Yeah.
or whatever, then yeah,
Now-
gift me something.
It's not about like dumping, like, here's all the junk I didn't
No,
want.
no.
I'm going to put it on your doorstep. But, I think regifting is completely okay. And I've done it. And I know people have done it for me. And I love, even if you told me this is secondhand, I'm going to be like, that's awesome. Like,
We get a lot of stuff
Yeah,
secondhand. We
I'm all
love
for it.
consignment shopping and Goodwill. We found some great value out of some things that we've gotten.
yes,
Yeah, absolutely.
just wanted to add that in there. I thought that was a great
I
tip.
think that was a great add-in. Dynamite drop in there, Jilly. All right, so that brings us to the quote of the day. Jill, take it away.
Our quote of the day today is, you can't wake up anybody else. You can only be a vibrational example. And this is from Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith. And I just listened to a fantastic podcast with him in it. And the whole term wake up means you can't change somebody else. It's only you can live the way you want to live, and then hoping that they see it and they see the positives of your life, and then they start to open up, and then they start to ask you questions. Because until they open up and ask you questions about what you're doing, you really can't try and change anyone else because they're closed. You know, their mindset is not open. They
Right.
don't want to be changed, and people don't want to be changed. They want to change themselves. So I think that the take action step from that quote of the day and about gift giving is just to keep awake and to stay awake. So if you're all about this simple living lifestyle and about trying not to receive gifts and, you know, want to communicate that to people instead of saying like, I don't want this, please don't buy it to me. Try not to change people. Just try living the way you want to live your life. And eventually people around you are going to see that you're glowing. It sounds like you're pregnant, but they're going to see that you're glowing and you're happy and you're healthy and you're thriving. And eventually they're going to be like, what are you doing? And they're going to see how happy you are. And then they're going to start asking questions. And that's when they're receptive to learning.
Yes.
And that's when you can share, like, this is what I'm doing. And it's bringing us so much happiness and I love it. So until then, like, try not to force anything on anybody or try not to change people. It's just you do you.
Right.
And do you the best way possible. And eventually they're going to see it and they're going to start asking questions. And that's when they're going to become more open to hearing about it. Until then, you know, don't preach to them. They're not going to want to hear it then.
And I think that's great advice, because I feel like you're the one who kind of took charge with this whole simple living kind of thing. And I got really curious. And when I started asking questions, you would talk to me about anything and everything. And I think it's opened my eyes, certainly, and it's changed our lives for the better. And we're still trying to learn.
Absolutely.
You know, we buy books, we listen to other podcasts, we watch documentaries, and it's all about improving and keeping things simple so that we can enjoy life.
Yep.
So I guess that's it for today.
I think so.
I think we rocked it out on podcast number 2.
We wrap that up and send it as a gift.
Absolutely. I like it. Nice. Well, want to thank everybody for listening. We hope we did better than the first time, and we will see you again next week.
Thanks so much. See you guys.
Take care. We want to thank everybody for listening today. Please be sure to subscribe and sign up to receive notifications so you know when the next episode is live. If you like today's episode and know someone who could benefit from the topic we covered, please share it with them. And if you have any suggestions for us or want to chime in on today's topic, you can email us at simplifiedchaospodcast@gmail.com, and that's chaos with a K, or send us a comment on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Thanks again for listening, and we will see you